Hello, Easy Wash Nation. It's your host, Brandon, and we are going to be doing a long overdue video today on how to troubleshoot low pressure. You can watch our other support videos on easywash.com/support or subscribe on our YouTube channel. I'm assuming you've already watched the basic operation video to know what switches are doing what when they're supposed to be doing it. So I'm assuming making this video, you know how to properly use the Easy Wash system. So this video is for the last time you ran it, it had great pressure, and you get it out today and there's something going on. So we're gonna go through kind of a flow chart on this video on the most common things it is causing low pressure. First thing I want you guys to do is shut all of your switches off. All of your remote switches starting at your unit are these three here, your pump, soap, warm water, and soap. Make sure these are off and walk around your building. Most of you folks have at least 2 remote workstations similar to this. You either have the control box and a ball valve in a stainless enclosure, or they're just flush mounted on your building. Each station like this, please make sure that all these switches are off. Oftentimes, people will accidentally leave a switch on, and let's say if it's the soap switch on, which is your soap hose, and you have an empty jug of soap, it's just going to suck air, and that can be easily a cause of low pressure, why we get phone calls. Make sure your ball valves are off also on each of these stations, and check for visible leaks. Is there water leaking out from behind the plate? Would be the sign of a broken hose behind there, or leaking at the unit. That can cause low pressure also when you're trying to use it. The next thing I want you to check is your nozzle. We've talked about this before. This is in the basic operation video, is this yellow nozzle, and there's 24 different sizes of these yellow nozzles. It needs to be a certain size. I cannot find this nozzle anywhere in the big box stores or hardware stores. It needs to be a 15050. We hit that up hard. This is our high pressure nozzle. So if you do not have this yellow nozzle with a 15050 on it, you can assume it's not the right nozzle. Another approved nozzle is our rotary nozzles. And again, these have a certain orifice size. This one fits our machine. We used to sell these in a blue rotary nozzle. Those are just so hard to find and back ordered all the time. So we've switched to this black rotary nozzle with an inline screen on it. So assuming those 2 things are correct, we can move on to the next step. Inside the building at your unit, make sure wherever your supply hoses are that come right into the front of your unit here, you'll have a hot and cold water shutoff. Make sure those are open all the way. Sometimes you can assume they're open, but don't assume they're open. Just go up there and double check that they're all the way lefty-loosey. So if all those things are checked out, next we will move on to our reservoir tank, which is behind our pump. Some people call it a float tank, reservoir tank. On the side of the reservoir tank, there'll be tabs holding the lid on. Just pry your fingers up underneath of it, pull the lid off. Obviously, you might need to get a ladder and maybe a little flashlight, depending on how high up off the ground this is. And that's the rest of this video is going to focus around how much water is in this tank, whether there is enough or is not enough. So get a ladder ready so you're able to safely be up and looking over the top of this float tank, reservoir tank. After that's set up, I need you to go outside and open up one of your ball valves. Do not hook the hose up. We don't need to test the hose because I'm assuming you already checked that for leaks. So we just want to test to make sure. So open one of these ball valves, and we're going to go inside now. When you're inside and ready, you're going to turn your pump on, and the machine should start running. And I want you to be looking inside of there. As this is spitting out water, it's not high pressure. It'll be running out like a garden hose. And a good judge is if this is coming out 3 feet before it hits the ground, that's a good sign of you're going to have good pressure. But if it's just kind of spitting out within a foot, that's not good pressure. So anyway, you're back inside, water's running out, and water should be coming into this float tank here, reservoir tank. If it is keeping up, meaning your water better not go below a half. Like if it's at least half full and it stays that way for 2-3 minutes, you've probably got good water supply coming into the Easy Wash system. So that's what I want you to check there. So let's take a break here. If you do have enough water coming into your float tank, now we've got to move on to the next step, and you still have low pressure, you could have a stuck pump valve from letting the unit sit, or it's got a calcium buildup, or you could have a stuck unloader, whether it's stuck in bypass and spring's not releasing to go into full pressure. So those are the two things. If you verify you have enough water in this tank and it stays that way, you're not sucking air because this tank is running empty. You know you have enough water in here, but you still have low pressure and you have all those things we've just discussed, then it's either a stuck pump valve, stuck unloader, or even worst case scenario, rarely, your pump could be shot. But that's a rare case calling in. So, okay. Next thing is if we're looking in this tank and it's running, we've got this ball valve open still, but you know this is not keeping up. It's sucking air in here. That's why we got low pressure. We know why we have low pressure now. We don't have enough water supply coming to the Easy Wash system. So we have a water supply problem. So let's diagnose that. The first things first, in order of easiness to do, is your supply hoses here. You have your hot and your cold. They're going to be on there more than hand tight. You might need a wrench or a pair of pliers to get them off. Take them off and there'll be a screen inside of here. Just make sure that you can see that mesh screen and it's not all full of crusties. That has happened before. The next thing is, while these supply hoses are off, take one of these hoses and we're going to do a bucket test. And what this is going to prove out next is that we have enough building water supply. We've had situations where something's changed, a new dishwasher gets installed or whatnot, and while the dishwasher is running or something else is running, we don't have enough building water supply. We need 5 gallon a minute supply coming to the Easy Wash system. So a super easy way to test that is to grab a bucket. Oh, wow, awesome. I have one right here. How convenient. 5 gallon bucket, 5 gallon a minute. Okay, this better fill up in 60 seconds. So now I'm testing something that's nothing to do with Easy Wash. Put my hose in here, turn my building water supply on up in the ceiling. If this thing fills up 5 gallon in 1 minute, then you know you just verified you have enough building water supply. That's not your problem. Next thing to check, if that runs good, we either have a restriction in our dual inlet solenoid or our float valve. So we know we have enough water supply, but to verify that, you've got your hose still off here. Take your building water supply valve that's up in the ceiling and turn it on manually, and let's fill this tank up with your supply hose. Turn your unit on and see if it keeps up now. If this keeps up, you just verified what I said I think was true, is that we've got a problem with the dual inlet or the float valve. This just is a way to verify it by manually holding your supply hose into the float tank and running the unit. So if it keeps up now, all of a sudden you finally have good pressure, then you know we've got it narrowed down to 2 things. So let's hook everything back up to get ready to test that again. The last thing to do is to remove this hose from the side of your Easy Wash system. It's right before the float tank. There's a big 3/4 inch elbow. Unscrew the plastic fitting right below that, and that's a 1/2 inch hose. And also do the same thing. Turn your Easy Wash system on, putting that hose into here manually, and see if it fills up. If it does keep up now, then you know you have enough water supply coming through your dual inlet here. Your dual inlet's not the problem. It's your float valve. So if that's the case, again, just to repeat, we take the side of this 1/2 inch hose off, put it in here, hold it in here manually, and run the unit. If it's keeping up now and we have good pressure, we have something going on with our float. Just verify that the float goes straight up and down, and make sure the float is in the down position. That's another thing. If it's stuck up, then it's doing its job. It thinks it's off, so it's not calling for water. So make sure it's in the down position. If holding this 1/2-inch hose in your float tank does not keep up with the float tank, it's not filling up any faster, then we know we've got a bad dual inlet. It could have some calcium stuck in it, or the solenoids are just getting tired and weak. We ran through a lot of stuff on here. If you might need to watch this again, but if you get all these steps done and this video is still giving you fits, just give us a call. We'll be glad to troubleshoot with you. Thanks for watching.